For always keeping up with us, subscribing on my two YouTube channels, that is a Trust Media Uganda and Waswa Emma YouTube channel. My name is Waswa Emmanuel. Thank you so much for following us. I just love you guys for the support you always give me. Subscribe, hit the notification button for all updates. We talk about entertainment, we discuss about politics, social life, economics, everything as long as it's happening in the globe or across the globe. For this case, let's discuss about the issues concerning the Afghan crisis and the Taliban power takeover. It's now almost 2 weeks ever since the Taliban took over power in Afghanistan. Ever since they took power in Afghanistan, we've been seeing a very terrible movement of people from Afghanistan. That is evacuation of various people from various states running off Afghanistan to other countries. Yes. Instead of that, we got a warning from Afghanistan, warning all the troops of American, US, to leave Afghanistan by 31st August. That was the deadline they agreed on. And by 2 days back, the Taliban kept on warning that by 31st, the US troops must be off the land of Afghanistan. US is having 6,000 troops in Afghanistan, and almost 4,000 are the ones surrounding the airport of Kabul to make sure they're having a safety evacuation of different people from different states and countries. But yesterday, everyone was asking himself about what will happen to the US troops if they fail to fulfill the 31st agreement between the US troops and the Taliban's new government or takeover. So at around it was around 11 Ugandan time here in Uganda. We saw an address from the US President, Mr. Biden, whereby he accepted and agreed to adhere with the evacuation process and backing up with the deadline of 31st August. But our question still stands, that how will US manage to beat the deadline? In the daytime, yesterday, the G7 countries, that is the 7 greatest countries in this world, you can talk of Germany, France, that is England, and others, the allies, they were like asking USA to extend the evacuation process so that they can beat off the deadline at the deadline day of 31st. Remember, today is 25th. We are remaining with only 6 days to have the deadline zone. But USA refused to extend its days in Afghanistan. They agreed, and Mr. Joe Biden agreed that by 31st, all his troops, the US troops, will be off the Afghanistan land so that they can evacuate all the people. US is having over 12,000 people in Afghanistan, and they have managed to evacuate some of them. And other countries like Spain, Denmark, other countries like Britain, Belgium are also working tooth and nail to make sure that they can evacuate some of the people. This situation of evacuating people came after the fears which were inserted into Afghanistan. Many of them who've been working with the foreign troops or the foreign people for over 20 years. After knowing that Taliban have taken over power, they decided to run off the country, looking for asylum in other countries, in that fear that they could be facing tortures from the Taliban. Even in Uganda here, we're hoping to have 2,000 of them, but maybe we're still having some talks between the US government and other concerned parties in this issue. So for that case, we are waiting to see whether the US troops and the US government will be able to take over, to beat the deadline day of 31st of evacuating its troops and the people. According to the stories coming from Afghanistan, it is showing that most of the people, the foreigners, are getting hard times to reach the airport since the Taliban have started now blocking so many people going to the airport. Most especially the people from Afghanistan themselves. The Taliban are asking themselves that why is it that most of them are running off the country, which is becoming a problem with them. Now they have decided by 31st of this month, August, everyone should have left this country. And they say if US fails to take over, to move away from within 31st, they will come and take over the responsibilities of the airport. Remember, for the past 2 weeks, the airport of Kabul has been under the control of the US troops. They've been the one, even they took over the spaceship, whereby they're just controlling the flights, everything, so that they can evacuate foreigners of various countries and those Afghanistans who have been working with them for the past 20 years. In Biden's speech, he told the nations and the whole world that they achieved the objectives which had taken them to Afghanistan for the past 20 years. He said that with them going to Afghanistan, one of their main intentions was to stop the Taliban who were harboring the terrorists, and they fought against that, and they made sure they finished it off. So they concerning that objective, they achieved it. So he says them leaving Afghanistan is not a failure, but it has been high time for them to leave this country and give it to the owners. So by the time they left, unfortunately, the Taliban government took over, and many people have been fearing the way how these guys govern the country, how they are going to be doing things like women putting women behind, not accepting them to the public. But as of now, the new government, which Talibans are setting off, they are ready to work with ladies. They are ready to follow everything. They are ready to give ladies freedom. So let's wait to see. And let's wait to see the next week how these Talibans are going to be behaving if Americans fail to leave this country by 31st. My name is Wase Manuel. I'll be updating you soon.